Hi guys, welcome back for another Down Dog update. Today I'm here with Alexandria Crow. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Alexandria is a former gymnast and she created yoga physics. Can you talk to us a little bit what that is exactly?
So I was actually speaking about it earlier. I intended to explain through branding of pretty much myself what I teach and how and why, without having to go into a terrible amount of depth. I think if you know the definition of physics, it becomes pretty simple, and it's really very in line with how I teach and why I teach the way that I do. So it was that idea that I could explain to people past my name what I do, but that's kind of the end of it. Is like that's how I teach, and that's the method that I use to deliver yoga. But it's not something where it's like a brand that you can't be a yoga physics teacher, because I'm the yoga physics teacher. So it's just a way to explain kind of what I do and how I do it.
I was wondering, because there are so many yoga teachers, it kind of is almost like you have to find a way to differentiate yourself and explain to people what makes you unique and maybe like what would draw people to you. So you find that to be helpful, almost maybe like a little tip for yoga teachers as to how they might be able to help people to understand what you do specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it took a long time, to be totally fair. It took a long time to get to that point. It was for a very specific reason that I did it, but it's not, for a long time I taught under my name, which is important because you are your brand and your personality is who you are, and that's how you represent yourself in the classroom. It's the same on and off the mat for me, so it was important to me to develop just a sense of who I was before I put a label on it, which is why it took so long. But yeah, eventually it's a way to go. Does it have to happen? No. Is it helpful sometimes? Yes, but you'd have to find like a very good way to explain it. So yeah.
That's very interesting. Now we're here at the Yoga Journal Live event in New York City, and yesterday you did a really intriguing workshop that was sold out, and it was about injury with yoga. Can you talk a little bit about that and what brought you to offer that?
Yeah, I was, as you mentioned, a gymnast for most of my young life until college, and I actually didn't get hurt very much doing that at all. And I had injuries, but not terrible ones at all. Certainly not devastating ones. Not that doesn't happen, but it just didn't happen to me. I did yoga for a number of reasons after finishing that, but I started an asana practice because it was familiar. The further I got into it, I was asked to do specific things. My teachers are amazing. They're amazing people. It wasn't their fault. If I know more now, I would have made different choices, but I made some choices based on their advice about how to position myself without knowing enough information about me personally and my skeleton and my injury issues and my underlying nervous system and all of that. And because of that, I ended up destroying my back, like basically ruined it, which is a very, very, very common but unspoken thing in the yoga world. So I feel a tremendous responsibility to speak really loudly about what happened to me and why I won't do poses like that anymore, and why I make very personal choices for myself in class based on what I know about myself. Because that illusion that what the fancy pose or the complicated pose or that it's supposed to look this way or that way, or as if you could take one picture that everybody would be able to work towards, is a really big problem. And so injury prevention, and that is my way of speaking really vocally about an issue that I have that is really near and dear to me, because I can't prevent injury in everybody, but I can inform people enough to take care of themselves a little bit better and prevent at least some of it. That it doesn't have to be devastating. That would be amazing to me. So, and I also feel like because yoga is misidentified as being, it's not misidentified, it's meant to heal. That's the whole purpose. But if you tell people it's meant to heal and then you don't explain further that like injurious pain is actually what you're moving away from, they think that sensation of any kind is meant to heal. And it is. You could get really esoteric with it, but it's also, that's not what we're supposed to do, and people don't speak loudly about it because they think they did something wrong. Now, I did do something wrong. I trusted somebody else instead of myself, but I want people to know that if they have pain, they should stop doing what they're doing that way and find out more about it and how to do it wisely. because my practice is solely like therapeutics and meditation at this point. I don't do fancy stuff anymore.
Okay,
So
right.
that was what that was all about. And it's a big topic because there's huge injuries out there.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Yeah.
And are there some like general poses that you suggest people, if they're beginners or not very experienced in yoga, just like avoid altogether? Or what quick suggestions might you have for people?
New, old, I don't care. If you have lower back pain of any kind, radiating down your legs, the SI joints, lower back, it doesn't matter to me if you've got like fire anywhere. That's not good, and back bends perpetuate that. Sometimes it's forward folds, but it doesn't tend to be from the same issues that forward folds aggravate it.
Yeah.
Big back bends, big twists and levering into stuff like that is a pretty decent problem with nervous system issues, because that's a very open and available posturing when most people have a fight or flight response going on.
Yeah.
So those, and then for beginners and frankly anyone, it does not have to be fancy. Chaturanga, up dog, down dog. I don't even teach that hardly at all anymore because it's a hard transition for your hip and your spine.
Yeah.
And it's just repetitive. It's a very repetitive set of motions. So I would say move slowly and mindfully, and really what you're trying to learn is not about the poses. It's actually about the sensation in the body when it's put in shapes, and what that causes you to have within your emotional system and within your mind, and you're supposed to be watching that and seeing all that for what it is. So that would be my advice, is like slow, simple, please.
Yes, definitely. Well, it sounds like there is a lot to know and to experience.
Yeah.
So for anyone who wants to do trainings with you or anything like that, where should they go?
Then go to my website, which is yogaphysics.com. I travel all over the world now. So there's that, and I'll be back on the East Coast a whole bunch the rest of this year, so you can find my whole schedule is always there. So
Perfect. And is there anything coming up in particular that you wanted to let people know about?
No, there's one every week. I go from here to another place and then another place and then home. So there's lots of opportunity.
That's good for us, because then we can learn from you, and it sounds like you have a great experience to share with everybody, and a very, very important topic that we all need to be more educated on, I feel like.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
You're
and
welcome.
I'll post your website, and definitely check out Alexandria Crow and everything that she has going on. So thank you so much for
You're
joining
so
me.
welcome. My pleasure.
And thanks for watching, guys. Namaste.
Bye.